The gentleman from Alabama for his statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for granting the request that the Housing Subcommittee Ranking Member Capito and I made last month to hold a hearing on the FHA's recently released actuarial report. I'd also like to welcome Secretary Donovan. I had the opportunity to observe Secretary Donovan on a trip to Alabama. I was most impressed and believe that you're doing a good job at the FHA. I'm just going to read my statement for interest of time. The deteriorating financial position of the FHA's capital reserve funds has raised concerns that, like Fannie and Freddie, the FHA may soon require its own taxpayer bailout. Along with Oversight Committee Ranking Member Issa, I sent a letter to Secretary Donovan on November the 2nd requesting detailed information on the FHA's business practices, including how the agency is working to prevent a taxpayer bailout. And again, I'd like to thank the Secretary for his cooperation in gathering that information. The findings of the actuarial report released on November the 6th revealed that FHA's capital reserve ratio had dropped below the congressionally mandated threshold of 2% to a less than expected 0.053%. The independent actuarial review also indicated that the economic value of the Mutual Mortgage Insurance Fund declined over 75% from last year to $2.73 billion. If home prices do not recover, the economic value of the fund could drop below zero, which could in turn prompt HUD to request an appropriation from Congress. Mr. Chairman, I'm encouraged by the announcements that Secretary Donovan and Commissioner Stevens, and I'm glad that you joined us to answer questions, have made regarding the implementation of reforms to shore up FHA's reserves and reduce risk, including the hiring of a chief risk officer. But unanswered questions remain. Fraud continues to plague the FHA program. I continue to be concerned that the agency lacks the technology and management capacity to perform proper oversight. What steps has the agency taken to improve technology and to adequately attract new staff to manage the growing FHA program? And I know there are great challenges there. And what exactly is the agency doing to prevent unscrupulous lenders from dumping risky loans into the FHA portfolio? Secretary Donovan, I'd also like to know what steps the FHA is taking to limit taxpayer exposure to a potential FHA bailout. As the private mortgage market falters, lenders flock to the FHA program, drawn by the 100% government guarantee. Some policy analysts have suggested FHA impose credit risk retention requirements for its originators. Others have suggested FHA provide less than 100% insurance coverage on loans. Some members of this committee have recommended that FHA increase premiums and down payment requirements. The gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Garrett, has introduced legislation to raise the minimum FHA down payment from 3.5 to 5%. I'd like to know maybe if the FHA is considering implementing any of these measures. In closing, Mr. Chairman, the FHA's insured mortgages provide millions of low and moderate income Americans, as well as first-time home buyers, the opportunity to own a home. This committee must continue to provide effective oversight of the FHA to ensure the program will remain viable for years to come. As the housing market recovers, Congress must also see to it that the agency does not displace the private mortgage market and that FHA's central mission is not undermined by the expansion to more high-cost areas. Secretary Donovan and Commissioner Stevens, I look forward to your testimony and answers to questions, and promise you my cooperation in working with you on these critically important issues. I know it's not something you caused, and it's something you've inherited, and I promise you my cooperation. I yield back the balance of my time.